What's going on out there in Washington State, Nate?
Restrictions, restrictions, and more restrictions.
Yeah, so I don't know if we can ask you or not. What job are you in town for, and where are you at?
I am actually, despite the little banner, I'm in Reno at the moment.
Oh.
So,
We
yeah,
are laser focused on this show.
and I got a Nevada State game tonight, but I honestly don't know who they're playing.
All right. Well, good, man. I miss it, and I don't miss it. In a way, under these conditions, I don't think I miss it too much. So, Debbie, I know you have some good questions to ask Nate.
Some good questions now.
And I heard you were talking with Karen earlier.
Yeah,
today.
Karen thinks that Nate is really good looking,
Aw.
and she would be up to going out with Nate.
Even though she's kind of on the liberal side, she said she would float that and go out on a date with you.
Awesome. Well,
I don't know
look
if
me
you're
up after the
taken.
show.
Yeah, I don't know if you're taken yet or not, but
Okay, so-
she's interested.
So Nate has a list of some of the restrictions there in Washington State. So what you got, Nate?
Well, the big ones are no social gatherings outside a household. They're only allowing up to 5 people to meet outdoors, which I'm slightly confused by. 5 people outdoors seems a little over restrictive. They've closed down all of our bars and restaurants to any indoor dining, and they're limiting outdoor dining to 5 people. They've closed down all our gyms and all of our fitness centers. They've closed down our bowling centers because
What?
bowling, you can't bowl during COVID. So they've limited retail stores, including grocery stores, to 25% of capacity, which has caused people to panic buy. So good luck getting toilet paper in Washington State right now. They've closed movie theaters, museums, zoos, aquariums. So you can't have any weddings or funerals with over 30 people at the moment. Churches are only allowed to meet with 25% of their capacity or up to 200, whichever is smaller. There's no singing allowed. You can't have a choir, a band, ensemble, anything. You can have one solo singer.
One solo singer, because that's
One solo singer. But
Well,
the congregation can't sing.
Dev has a good one from one of the other states.
Yeah, Ohio is getting ready to prohibit any dancing or games.
Oh, yeah, because,
Yeah.
dancing, yeah.
Or games. I know you. Go ahead.
Does that include online games, or you just can't have any games, period?
I'm sure that's just games in
Online
person.
games.
Yeah, you can have virtual
Yeah,
games.
no virtual gaming. That virus
Yeah.
is smart that way. It sneaks right in.
At least this isn't California with the curfews, which because apparently it's more dangerous after 10 p.m.
10.
Yep, that's what we have too.
10
A
p.m.
lot of states are saying that it's more dangerous after 10 p.m.
And when do the youngins, more in the, let's say, the 20 to 30-year age, when do the youngins have their most fun?
Well, after 10.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're just trying to shut
mean-
that down. But
I was an early go-getter. I would open the bars. But my friends, they didn't like to go there until 10 or 11, until everybody was already primed and ready to go. They were like, you're just wasting your time going early, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
And they would go late. But, yeah.
well, I could understand to some extent limiting people in bars, because we all know that we get a little silly when we
Yeah,
start
but-
drinking. So I could see some logic in that, but to just across the board
Yeah.
shut down after 10, that makes absolutely no sense, because the way I see it is you're then forcing the entire population to go to all the stores that are limited in capacity at the same time. You can't spread it out. What
Yeah.
about people who are working night shifts? What about truckers? What about fuel stops?
I know.
So it doesn't make a lot of sense. It seems like you're taking the population and crushing them down and only giving them a small window to do all their business.
Now, I know you stay hip on Grumpy Grandpa Patriot Show. No, because I'm so entertaining. But my last show, I did talk what I was trying to get out to the people that are scared to go to Thanksgiving and Christmas and all that stuff is we're Americans. And I tried to say that whenever you were younger, you know, you we or older, we it was not like if you rode a bike without a helmet, right?
Hmm.
You had a 99.99% chance of survival. And our parents didn't wear a helmet. We didn't wear a helmet. We didn't make our kids wear a helmet. Yeah, we knew it was more dangerous, but the risk was very low. Well, with this virus, especially with young people, it's like 0% death. But let's say we'll give it a 99.9% chance of death. Go do it. We'll take, we'll let our kids have that risk and everything, but we're closing down schools and everything for so small of a chance of death. It's incredible.
Well, what's interesting about the schools is the CDC just came out with a report saying that closing schools is probably not a good idea. So, and the kids are really suffering more.
Yeah.
People like us, we're upset and we're frustrated. And I had a bout of unemployment, and I know you did too, Mark, because of this.
Still.
But we're adults. We're resilient.
Yeah.
The kids
Yeah.
are missing out on social learning, education. They're taking the brunt of this.
Yes.
Well, you've coached in the past, and you know the one kid might have sucked the year before or been good, right? But his senior year, he might have been great,
Yep.
That
Yep.
might have been his breakout year, set whole path to getting a scholarship at a college. It changed their whole life, and he's not at risk of dying of this thing.
Well, what's slightly interesting is Washington State, with all their restrictions, they did not shut down sports. They're still allowing it to happen to a certain extent. Everybody has to be masked, including the players, which, if you've ever played football, that is,
Any sport.
yeah. But yeah, I was surprised that they allowed that to continue, especially
crazy.
considering that outdoor gatherings are limited to 5. So there seems to be some
Mhm.
inconsistencies here. It seems like the list was just kind of arbitrary and not really well thought out.
Yeah. That's all great. I mean, you know me. I got one phase, and that's open. Debbie's, well, you're familiar with daycares too. Her daycare was open for a week here, and then maybe a week but now it's probably a done deal. And I said from the beginning,
No, we're supposed to go back after Thanksgiving.
all right, we'll see if it's not going to happen, Nate.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just ridiculous. We never done it in the past this way before. We should just muster through it like Americans always do. But that's my own opinion.
And now you have Burks coming out and saying that we should wear our face mask in our homes among other family members. So now we need to wear a mask at
in the
home.
house.
Well, the one thing that I've heard universally from both my left and right friends is the restrictions stop at your doorstep. They can say what they want, but
Yeah.
I have yet to speak to one Democrat or one Republican that says, "Yeah, I'm going to wear a mask in my home."
Well, the only problem is like John from New Mexico, we'll call him. He was saying, they got hot numbers for, those people that don't like you to call in. And if they've had a beef with you in the past, by all means, if they catch you with one other person or something like that, they're going to turn you in. And in his state, it's so bad that they can come after your guns and stuff like that because they consider you a threat or something like that. It's draconious. It's un-American. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I can speak a little bit to that because Washington State was one of the first to have they called it a NARC list.
Yeah, NARC line.
Yeah. And there was report after report after report, especially religious organizations. They were being attacked more than anyone. Their buildings were closed. There was nobody in them. And yet there would be hundreds of reports just from people in the community that are anti-religion. But as far as I can tell, only one or two businesses has been affected by that list. Everybody else has been left alone. So I think it's just to satisfy people who just are so bitter that they just feel they have to go after anyone.
Well,
They feel like they've done something.
yeah. I mean, in basic training, they wanted to promote unity, family. You want to risk everything for that guy next to you, right? And they frowned on narking. I mean, narking was not the way to go. If you had a problem with other basic training, members in your flight or whatever, you handled it in house, and you didn't go run to the TI and like, but it builds unity, and America was built on freedom and unity, and everything from the churches to everything. They're trying to break that bond.
Yep. Well, it's an interesting state that we're in America. We're as 50-50 as we've ever been. You can see it even in the popular vote. I mean, it's what, 52-47, something like that. But that's as close to 50-50 as you're ever going to get. And you have fringes on either side that are just hell-bent on tearing everything that we've worked for as America down.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, people in the middle have got to stand up and say, enough is enough. We're not going to continue to do this. I'm more than happy, even though I hate the masks, I'm more than happy to walk into the store with the mask on, just because it makes people feel better.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I'm more than happy to wait in line a little bit so that there's not a huge congregation of people all in the same place. But I'm not going to let people tell me that I can't have Thanksgiving. I'm not going to let people tell me I can't have Christmas. I'm not going to let people tell me that I can't worship.
Yeah.
That's just not okay. That's not American right there.
Yes.
What I'd like to see, it'll never happen, is, again, like you say, I don't like it at all to put on that mask. But whenever I go to Walmart and the stores that require it, I'm not going to be a jackass. I put it on. I'm not happy about it one bit. The good thing is I actually see other people that don't have it on, and half the people are wearing it. Like, once I see a couple of people with it down like this and their nose exposed, well then, and the employees, I drop mine down to at least, I just go along with but I would love to see our kids before, like, I spoke to somebody else and their kids were going to go to, a sporting event, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're in sports, but they're going to school, and the dad even said, why don't all you young kids just say, screw it, we're not wearing the mask today, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, Dad, I would love to do that, but if I don't put on the mask, they don't let me play my, football.
Yep.
And that takes it away. That takes it away. But the kid wants to do it, but he's afraid to. But if all of them just did it and just ran into that school without a mask on, oh man, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Your state and my state, Washington, are a little bit different than that. So Washington, the way that they're dealing with it is they decided to go after the businesses. So any business that allows a customer in without a mask could potentially be shut down and face fines. So as much as I dislike the masks, I find myself hoping that people wear them in my state just because it's not fair to throw that on the business owners.
No, I'm not going to argue with the business. If the business requires you to have a mask on, it's their business. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And they don't have a choice. They may not like it, at least in Washington. They may not like it, but it's universal. You just can't walk in a place without a mask.
I like what they did over in UK. They all just ran out in the streets and protested the mask. Just like thousands of them gathered in the street and just said, screw you, we're not wearing it. And they were all having a party out in the street. That's a good way to handle it.
Well, go a couple hours south of me and into the Portland area, and they're basically doing that every night. They're having bonfires in the street. It's
funny that I always said that, you had the hippies that wanted peace and free love, right? They wanted peace and free love, and they didn't like the big brother. They didn't like the man, right? Mm-hmm. Now these people are old, and they all go right along with the man. Mm-hmm. And it's going to take I always say it's going to take the young ones. Which way do you want to go? Do you want to be free or do you want to listen to the man? Which one?
Well, unfortunately, with the state of education, I think you're getting an answer. It's not the answer you
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
but you are getting an answer.
Yeah.
When you start seeing and it's major cities for the most part, but when you see people attacking law enforcement, attacking government buildings, attacking people that don't agree with their point of view, I think the answer is pretty clear. Um, Join their opinion or suffer the consequences, which is really sad. I don't know what happened to being able to have a conversation and even if it's a heated conversation and share different viewpoints without getting violent about it.
Yeah. Now, Deb, do you want to
Oh no,
go
we've gone
there?
over pretty much everything that I was going to talk about.
I always take over, Nate.
Yeah, it's all right. I just let you take over, and I always like to listen to our guests whenever we have a guest
it's
on.
so important to get other people's perspective and everything. And I know what.
We talked about most of the points that I had,
Yep.
so we got to them. Nate
Okay.
knew all the information on Washington, so
Yeah, he was hit.
kudos to you.
I gotta
Doing his
say,
own
guys,
research.
But before we end this, I would like to talk about the votes in my state. For just a moment.
We would
okay.
love you to.
So I personally don't believe that there was any fraud in my state, or if there was, it was very minimal. We've been doing mail-in voting for a long time, and they didn't change any of the systems up there. But I do have almost a certain, I wouldn't call it pleasure, but uh, our government officials were voted back in office pretty unanimously. It was 60+%. And as soon as they got reelected, they felt vindicated that they made the right decisions. And so they start the lockdowns. Well, now we have 100,000 people that are unemployed, but there is no federal bailout bill. And most people have burnt through their unemployment. So now you have 100,000 people that don't have any income. And unfortunately, a good majority of those people actually voted for these officials. So I'm sad to see anybody suffer, but it's our state is a good example of careful what you wish for.
Yeah, no, they don't think it all the way through. I don't think. I think like you, the older you get, and with everybody, I don't know. I was pretty conservative my whole life. I've been an asshole my whole life. But Nate, the older you have gotten, you agree you might not like Trump, but you like his policies better than what's going on the other side. And the more that they take the money out of your pocket and dictate what you have to do in your life. I've seen, we've talked politics over the years, and you have started leaning more to, you're still in the middle, but leaning a little bit more to like, hey,
Yep.
and you see them pushing these agendas and everything, and you're.
I will say that I started my life on Team Blue, and I was definitely left leaning. I drank the Kool-Aid, and as I got older and started to develop, I started to see what was happening there, and I had no choice but to go right. I don't.
Well, you're
I
a
don't
worker.
agree. Yeah,
You're
I don't agree with a lot of red policies, but
yeah.
I trust them a heck of a lot more than I trust the left right now.
And plus, you're ornery. You got to lean right now. You're as ornery as me, so yeah, you got to. But no, it is what it is. If they're taking money out of your pocket and restricting and trying to close down our businesses and our livelihood, which they have, I'm not going to go along with that system. I want to go with the other side that says let's all open back up and be free, and let's just muster through this.
See, I'd like to think that Americans are smart enough to make good decisions. I'd like to think that. Unfortunately, not all Americans are capable of making good decisions.
No.
But that doesn't mean that you have the right to throw the Constitution in the trash, stomp on it a few times, burn the American flag, and say, we don't care about anything. We've made it through a lot in this country. And, unfortunately, there's this phobia of death these days. Since the
Mhm.
1900s, we haven't had to deal with it on a mass scale, where in the past it was pretty commonplace.
Yeah.
And so
Life was hard.
it was very hard. And I think that phobia of death is really at the heart of what's causing people to
Yes,
get
yes.
psychotic about the shutdowns.
Mm-hmm.
I know you call me
Absolutely.
grumpy grandpa to the letter. One of mine is they're stealing our freedom under the shroud of safety.
Hmm.
And I
And
agree.
unfortunately, every time that somebody's tried to do that, it's ended up in a worse situation than if they had just left it alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And so my last grumpy grandpa, I said, I had a wild good time growing up. I did crazy stuff. I did stuff that, I'm talking to another guy that we probably might not have survived actually doing that wild. You got any stories of living on the edge?
oh boy.
Come on, I'm putting you on the spot.
Okay, well, I'll give you a good fear one.
Good.
I go down to the ocean every year with a bunch of
Yep.
buddies,
Yep.
and we go out into the big surf on the Pacific Ocean, and get up to our chest. And a few years ago, so I wasn't even young. It was just a few years ago. We decided to bring a floaty down to the ocean. So
Oh no.
we're all out there trying to flip each other over and
Yeah,
just having
yeah,
a good old time.
Yep.
Well, one of my buddies and myself were the last to go in. And I jump up on the floaty and I look at the string that's attached to it and I go, that's going out to the ocean. That's not going into shore anymore. It's like, oh, we might be in trouble here. So I yell at my other buddy that's in the water and we start to swim. And
Yeah.
we're going out, not in.
Yep.
So just about that time, all of our friends on the beach realized, we have a problem. So they're trying to figure out what to do. Thank God we were smart enough to swim with the current sideways.
Sideways. Yeah.
And we ran into a rock that was out there. We were able to touch the ground and walk
nice.
in. But
Nice.
there's my story of being stupid.
Yeah.
Everybody warns you about riptides. Everybody tells you to be safe out there. We were paying zero attention, and we were almost a victim of what, unfortunately, others have succumbed to in the
And
past.
it was scary.
Mhm.
It was maybe something you shouldn't have been doing. And guess what? You got a wild story that you and your guys will talk about from here for the rest of your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to be one of those. I don't have any kids, but I'm going to be one of those uncles yelling at the kids now. Be careful out there. Don't go too deep.
Yeah. Oh, we always warn people, but I'm just saying it's America. And, sometimes it's okay to just let people try. And you might live, you might die, but you're going to miss out on life unless you get out there and live it and have a rip-roaring good time.
Oh, I got one more for you,
Yeah.
Mark. You got to let me get this one in.
Does it involve very fast cars?
No, but it involves
Okay,
you.
all right.
It involves you.
All right. I
Deb
love
might
this.
appreciate this.
Yeah.
So, I get this opportunity as a young 24-year-old to go work in the TV business,
Yep.
and I'm pretty excited. So
Oh.
my boss hooks me up with Mark and says, you two are going to work together.
Yep.
And within the first couple of weeks, we were toe to toe, nose to nose,
Yep.
getting ready to get into a fist fight. And
Almost every day.
Yeah. But I remember there was a really bad one, and I was sitting there thinking, I'm going to get very hurt here, but I'm not going to stand down.
Well, yeah,
And-
you got to stand your ground.
Yep.
And well, I did it with the truck driver.
Yeah, I thought you were going to talk about the truck driver.
The truck driver.
That's Mark's story.
Yeah.
I almost took a swing at you, Mark. I almost did.
Yeah.
And now
Well-
you're one of my best friends.
Yeah. It's what guys do. We fight, and then we go have a beer afterwards. That's how we do it. We don't hold a grudge for 10 days or months or anything. We get it out. And I knew where you stood, and you knew where I stood. That's all there's to it. Yeah, and I had to do the same with the truck driver. He wanted to kick my ass, and I said, he was doing it all in the closed doors, so nobody would see him threaten. So I swung open the door, and I ran outside. I'm like, this bring it on outside. Let's go. Let's get after it. And I think, me and Gary O were the same. He's like a brother to me and you. And me and Gary O, our boss, we had it out a couple times.
Yeah.
And you were there the one time, I think, in the garage up there, and we went. I got a little upset, but it's good.
Yep.
But Gary O was a man. I was a man, and then Gary O would do his laugh and go, sheesh, let's go out and have a beer.
Yep. It's all over. Yep.
Yep.
So,
Good
and
times.
hopefully
Good
it'll
times.
be like that with this COVID thing.
Yeah,
it sucks.
hopefully.
We're all toe to toe. This country wants to rip itself apart, and hopefully we'll laugh and have a beer when it's all said and done.
America needs to just go out, come to get over it, and have a beer. I like it. Make a T-shirt. That's a
I
good
would.
T-shirt.
Just don't wear it in California.
Oh, come on. Everybody's got to wear it. Let's all get over it and have a beer. I love it. I like it. Okay. Anything else?
I think I'm good here.
Okay.
I think we're
That
good.
was a good
I
talk.
really appreciate your time, Nate. I know you're, running around and everything, but hey, every once in a while you get that weather report. Just send it to Debbie's phone, and then
Okay.
you don't even have to warn us. Just do it, and if we don't have any other weather report, we'll shove you right in there.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
Debbie's going on hyenas next week.
Oh, wait. Karen? Okay. Karen will get numbers. We'll get-
Okay.
Well, I got your number. So if you're ever in Oklahoma, you got a date.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Talk to you later, Nate.
Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye, Nate.
Bye.